Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight, it was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What kind of slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad. I'm back with you for Better Off Dead Sunday. I don't even know. Is it Sunday? I think it is. July 13th. I think this is the last Major League Baseball day before we head into the All-Star break, where I'll probably still do the show if there is WNBA to talk about, so you get just WNBA. Typically, because I haven't really done WNBA before, I've typically just taken those days off because I don't talk about the home run derby or anything like that. I don't do any betting or anything like that, any analysis on the games that are going on during the All-Star break. So I usually just kind of take it off. But if there is WNBA, I'll probably do some short videos related to that. Short episodes, I guess. Yesterday, 1-0 on the show. Being very selective yesterday. I didn't love the board yesterday. Coming off a 4-0 day the day before that. So a nice 5-0 little run here, which I wish I was actually betting these games right now. I'm giving the plays out as if I were betting them, but because I'm conserving money right now, I'm not, I don't have like the bankroll to actually like bet these things right now, but unfortunately, because I would have won money over the last couple of days. It's been a good little run. Nancy, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Good morning. I'm going to give out 2 baseball plays today and being pretty selective again today, really. Yesterday, the win was pretty easy. The one that I had, it was Atlanta, St. Louis over the total. Atlanta, I mentioned, we didn't even know who their starting pitcher was going to be, and it wound up being a bullpen game for them, as I expected. And it did not go terribly well for the pitching on either side, which is exactly what I expected. So we had a 6-5 final in that game. That game was 3-3, I think, in the second inning. So it actually probably should have wound up being higher scoring than it actually was. But we still got the win there. All right, let's talk about WNBA first today. I'm not going to have any plays on these games. We do have 4 games today, though. Dallas and Indiana is the first game up, and that's a big ABC game because this is the first time that we're actually going to have Clark getting the rematch against Beckers, which is going to be a revenge spot for Beckers, basically, because they faced off in college, and I don't think they've actually played against each other since then, which I believe was the Final Four 2 years ago, I want to say, when Iowa beat UConn. So Beckers does have that little bit of a revenge angle on her side, I guess, for Dallas here. Now, these 2 teams did just play not that long ago, and Indiana won at Dallas, but Clark was injured in that game, I believe. She didn't play in that game. She was injured at that point. So the 2 of them have not actually faced off against each other, even though Dallas did actually lose that game to Indiana. So it's kind of a double revenge spot because of that for Dallas, because Indiana went into Dallas, beat them on Dallas's floor. Beckers has that little bit of a revenge angle here. So I lean Dallas in this game. Indiana coming off that win over Atlanta, too, which is a pretty big win for them. But I still think it's going to be a game where both teams are probably going to show up. It is a big game for both teams. Dallas coming off a couple of pretty ugly losses to Phoenix and Chicago. It is a 3rd straight road game, which is not that easy for them, although a short travel spot from Chicago to Indiana. So, yeah, I'm going to lean slightly to Dallas in this game, but I'm not going to recommend a play on it, although the line has moved in that direction. It's down from 10.5 to 9.5. 62% of tickets on Indiana, 72% of the cash, though, on Indiana. But that's actually probably the strongest lean, and my strongest WNBA lean, even when I don't give it out as a play, has actually been hitting at a pretty high rate. So take all of that for what you will, I guess. Atlanta, coming off that pretty big game against Indiana and lost to Indiana, is now going to New York. This is a big game. These are the top two teams in the Eastern Conference right now, in the standings at least. Liberty coming off a big win over the Aces as well, which even though the Aces aren't playing well, that's still always kind of a big game. And the Aces are always kind of in the mix there as being one of the most competitive teams in the league. Liberty are somewhere around a 3.5-point favorite. Yeah, up from 3.5 to 3.5 with juice. I don't really have too many feelings on this one at all, man. I don't even really have a lean on that, but just pointing out what's going on in that game, really, there's really not a whole lot to look at as far as the situation. The big mismatch of the day is, of course, involving Connecticut because they are that bad. They're terrible. They're going to L.A. in this one. L.A. is coming off a pretty tough game against Minnesota. Coming off a few big games in a row, really. They played the Liberty, Indiana, and then Minnesota. So they are stepping down in class, but it could be a little bit of a hangover spot because they're coming off such big games. So maybe they won't cover this big number here. Connecticut coming off losing to Seattle after they beat Seattle, which was one of the crazier results that you'll see this season. Kind of a weird outlier. And then I told you I thought Seattle was in kind of a zigzag spot there, although they actually didn't cover in the next game. That's how big the line was. But Connecticut is coming off of that. Connecticut's just not good, though, man. The line has dropped a little bit from 11.5 to 11. You are asking a lot of LA to cover that number. And then we do have Washington at Seattle. Washington coming off a big win over the Aces. To me, it seems like Washington just has the Aces number, man. They play really well against the Aces, like every time they play them for whatever reason. Now they're having to go to Seattle. Another big game. Seattle's a good team as well, but I don't know if Washington can continue that effort multiple games in a row like that. And Seattle is coming off that pretty easy win over Connecticut, so, and staying at home, likely that they'll be focused here for this game, I would imagine. So Seattle is up from 5.5 to 7. I don't disagree with that line move. Probably would lean to Seattle, though you're kind of pushing it with the number being a little bit higher than what it was before. Not going to recommend a play on any of those games, though. Anna, what's up? We have all women in the chat today. I think that's a first for Better Off Dead. It's all ladies. What's up, everybody? Let's keep it that way. Let's fix the ratio, man. Let's have no men come into this. Let's not make it a sausage party. Although sometimes you do want to hang out with the boys, though. All right. Major League Baseball. Cubs at Yankees. I believe they've split the first two games of the series. It's been a competitive series in that respect, at least. Oh, well, thank you, Anna. I love you guys as well, or you ladies, I should say. This game, on the surface, it looks like this is a huge pitching mismatch with Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs, Warren for the Yankees, but I'm going to say that I'm not quite sure that that is the way to look at this game. So the Yankees won the first game of the series easily, 11-0. They lost yesterday 5-2. Cubs got a really nice start from Boyd yesterday. Yankees did have to use a lot of their relief pitching yesterday as Fried really did not get them deep into that game. One of the worst starts for Fried on the year. So the Yankees are probably a little bit of a bullpen disadvantage here, bullpen rest-wise, and probably otherwise even. If you look at the bullpen ERAs, the Cubs are actually up in the top third of bullpen ERAs now. Yankees down kind of in the bottom half. So Cubs do have the bullpen advantage. So you look at this and think, well, wait a minute. We're getting the Cubs at an underdog price, and they probably have the better starting pitcher, and the bullpen is in better shape, and the offenses are kind of comparable between these two teams, so why wouldn't we want to grab the Cubs here? Well, I don't know if we could totally trust Imanaga, man. I know he's been really good throughout his career with the Cubs so far this year, including this year, 2.8 ERA, 0.98 whip. He's been really good on the road as well, 1.34 ERA on the road. He's actually had most of his struggles at home. He's been decent this month with 2 starts so far this month, 5.0 strikeout walk ratio. So his strikeout rate is kind of down, though, which worries me a little bit. 3.97 ERA. He allowed 3 home runs to Cleveland, which is just really bizarre, but he held them to just those 3 runs. coming off a nice 6-inning outing, 2 runs allowed against Minnesota. I didn't walk anybody in that entire span, so his command is still there, even though he's not really fooling hitters by way of the strikeout here. But up against the Yankees, I don't know, I kind of question it a little bit, even though the Yankees are not familiar with him. And I always say when an opposing offense is not very familiar with an opposing pitcher, a lot of times it does mean the advantage is on the side of the pitcher because the hitters don't know what to expect, really. They haven't seen this guy before in like a live game environment, so they kind of have to figure him out. But when Imanaga did face the 2 Yankees hitters that have faced him before, Chisholm and Goldschmidt, they're 4 for 10 off him with a home run from Goldschmidt, man. So they actually did well against him. 400 average, 1,200 OPS. So I have to kind of dial it back a little bit on what I think about this game, man. Even though overall, yes, I think Imanaga is the better pitcher than Will Warren, who is not doing that well for the Yankees. 4.7 ERA, 1.4 WHIP. He's been good at home, though. 2.96 home ERA, so his home road splits are pretty crazy. Way better at home. He's not in good form, though, over the last few starts, man. He's walked at least 2 in his last 4 starts apiece. 2 starts ago, he got bombed for 8 runs against Toronto. Did bounce back with a shutout against Seattle for 5 2/3, but he still walked 2 guys, only struck out 4. So over the span of the last 4 games here, we can go back to, we have, what has he got? 21 strikeouts and 12 walks. I mean, that's not a great ratio, man. So he is walking too many guys. The Cubs, however, have not seen Warren before. So again, it could be a little bit of an advantage to Warren just because he's facing a lineup that is totally unfamiliar with him. Although generally, yes, I would say I still prefer Imanaga of the 2 starters. I prefer the Cubs bullpen as well. Imanaga overall is the better of the 2 pitchers, and he's in the better form right now, but the money is not agreeing with that. The Cubs look like they're actually a public underdog here, maybe just because everybody kind of knows Imanaga's name at this point, and they know that he has a way better ERA than Warren. We have 59% of the tickets, only 56% of the cash, though, on the Cubs as a road underdog. So it looks like the Yankees are surprisingly kind of an anti-public home favorite. So this might be one spot where the Yankees are actually playable, where a lot of times you have to pay way too much to play the Yankees. But in this case, I don't think the price is really too high on the Yankees, but given that I still think the Cubs have a pitching advantage in this game, I'm going to stay off of it. The market is disagreeing with that. But given that I do think the Cubs have the pitching advantage, I would still kind of have to lean to, well, you should probably take the Cubs as the underdog here. But the market is really scaring me away from that completely, so I'm not going to do that. And I don't love what the matchup really looks like either against those opposing hitters for the Cubs side there. Andrew, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. All right, Miami at Baltimore. And I don't like Imanaga's matchup numbers so far against the Yankees hitters who have seen him before. Miami, Baltimore, one of the ugly series that's happening right now. Baltimore won the first game and then got shut out 6-0 yesterday. Pretty ugly. Rodgers actually did pitch pretty well, which I did say I thought he would. The Orioles bullpen really kind of blew it, although they were already losing the game, but blew it. Who, I don't know why any team would even want this guy, man. They got him from Atlanta, or maybe Atlanta just released him and the Orioles decided to sign this guy as if that's going to do anything to help their bullpen issues. Probably not. I mean, obviously it has not worked out so far. This Orioles bullpen is bad. Miami's bullpen is bad as well. Although after yesterday, maybe Miami's bullpen is a little bit less used than the Orioles bullpen, although both bullpens didn't really have to get too involved in the game. We do have a matchup of 2 pretty interesting young starters, though, so that makes this a little bit less of an ugly matchup here with Yuri Perez pitching for Miami. He's still a really young guy, and he's starting to pitch well again. His career kind of got derailed a little bit by some injuries really early on in his career. He actually started his major league career at a really young age, and he was putting up good numbers. Got hampered, got sidelined with some injury issues. He's coming back, and his last couple starts have actually been pretty good. His ERA this year is 4, but his WHIP is a pretty solid 1.04. He's been worse on the road, 4.96 road ERA, but we're looking at a pretty small sample size here. Last 2 starts, he went 5 innings in each of them, only allowed 1 run over that entire span of 11 innings and only 3 hits, which is really impressive. And probably even more impressive than that, a 15-1 strikeout walk ratio. So he's coming off basically 2 dominant starts against Minnesota, and then at Cincinnati is probably more impressive because they're a decent offense, and they play in a hitter-friendly park. So Perez seems like he is now in form again, man. He's starting to kind of look like his old self based on the numbers here. Orioles also have no experience against him. Only Laureano has ever seen him. He is 1 for 2 off him with a single. But other than that, nothing going on there. So Baltimore is basically unfamiliar with Perez. Should be a little bit of an advantage to Perez. So we're looking like, well, maybe it makes sense to lean to Miami here. And I do, but I don't know that I necessarily want to give this out as a play because Brandon Young is a total wild card, man, for the Orioles. He's a young pitcher as well who does have some talent. It hasn't shown yet this year. His numbers are bad. 6.14 ERA, 1.73 whip, very bad. Home road split's pretty insignificant. Starting to pitch maybe a little bit better over the last couple starts. 10 to 2 strikeout walk ratio over the last 2 starts. 6-0 in the last start against the Mets, who are a pretty good offense, and he held them to 2 runs in 5 1/3 innings. So that was a pretty good start from him. So he is kind of trending in the right direction at least. So maybe Young will actually be able to get something done here because he is stepping way down in class to face a pretty bad Marlins offense. And the Marlins have never seen him before. So we could have maybe a little bit of an edge on both sides here, on both starting pitchers here. Although I prefer Perez. I mean, I think Perez, we have more numbers to work with in his career, really. So we can kind of figure out, well, Perez has already shown that he can really actually dominate at the major league level. Young has not really shown that yet. So I'm going to say, I think the best lean in this game is actually still to Miami. Baltimore sitting at -120. They're public, 68% of the tickets. Baltimore being public seems just wrong. 61% of the cash on them. I do think Perez does have the upper hand. I don't like either bullpen, obviously. Baltimore does have the better offense of the two, but even so, I think Perez, he's the preferred of the 2 pitchers, although I could see both pitchers doing okay early on in this game. A first 5-inning under wouldn't be maybe the worst way to look at this because I hate the bullpens, but the starting pitching could maybe limit the runs in the early part of the game. We have 75% of tickets on the over, only 68% of the cash, though, so that might be another way to look at that game. My Boston Red Sox are hosting Tampa. Red Sox have won every game in the series so far by 1 run. So even though the Red Sox have won 9 games in a row now, I believe is what this is, on the verge of another sweep. But again, I mean, they beat 2 bad teams, Washington, Colorado. They won every game in the Tampa series here so far by 1 run, which still has allowed the Red Sox to overtake Tampa in the series. Red Sox are definitely hot right now, but obviously every one of these games in the series could have gone maybe either way based on a few things happening differently. As Tampa out-hit the Red Sox in the first game of the series, Red Sox won on a walk-off home run by Rafaela in the second game. Yesterday, the Red Sox did get a dominant performance from Crochet. He went the complete game yesterday, exactly 100 pitches, very solid outing. Tampa pretty much saved their entire bullpen as well. Boz pitched pretty well as well. So that was one thing I did get right on the show yesterday. Didn't give it out as a play, but I mentioned I liked the under in the first 5 innings in Tampa and Red Sox yesterday. Today, I'm thinking maybe Tampa is worth a look to try to stave off the sweep here and try to avoid the sweep here as we're headed into the All-Star break here. I don't know if I'm not going to recommend it as a play, but that might be a little bit of a lean here. I mean, both bullpens are rested here. Look at the bullpen ERAs. The Red Sox have actually crawled way up in the standings, man. The Red Sox bullpen has actually been a lot better recently. They were pretty bad to start the season, so they've gone way up. Although Tampa's bullpen still isn't that bad, even though they're kind of in the mid-tier bullpens now. So both bullpens still pretty good, although the Red Sox probably have to be given a little bit of the edge, as weird as that sounds to say. I don't think the Red Sox have the starting pitching edge, though, because I like Ryan Pepio having a pretty good season for the Rays here. 3.32 ERA, 1.14 whip. A little bit worse on the road, 3.72. Still pretty good, though. Last couple starts, he did walk 3 guys apiece, which is a little bit concerning, but he also had a 15 to 6 strikeout walk ratio, went exactly 6 innings in both against the A's and the Tigers, allowed 2 runs in each start, limited them to 7 hits in 12 innings, so he is pitching pretty well as it is right now. And he does have decent numbers against the Reds. Or no, he doesn't actually. Excuse me. I thought he had decent numbers against the Red Sox, but he does not. In 66 at-bats, they've actually hit him pretty well. 288 average, Yeah, so my mistake. 878 OPS. So unfortunately for Pepio and for maybe leaning to the Rays here, he doesn't actually do that well against the Red Sox, and they are pretty familiar with him. He had a really mediocre start last time out in Boston. Last time the Red Sox faced him was in Fenway Park, which is where this is. He did have 9 strikeouts, which is pretty impressive, but he allowed 3 runs, so he didn't really limit the damage that much in that game. But he might still be able to keep his team in the game. Not nice guy. What's up, man? Good to see you. If we cover MMA, I don't know a whole lot about MMA. I mean, I very occasionally will throw a bet down on MMA. It's very rare, probably like once or twice a year, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm not uninterested in it, but it's just something that doesn't really get onto my radar. It's just way too much to cover because I'm already covering all these other sports. I have been talking to Cheney. If you know Cheney, well, you probably do because she wasn't at Bro Grove this time, though. She was at Bro Grove. Well, you were at Bro Grove, not nice guy. You were at the last 2, right? She was at the previous one, not the most recent one. She knows MMA, so we have been kind of talking about, like, maybe I'll do, I don't know, like kind of a separate, like, MMA show where she just tells me about MMA because I don't know a whole lot about it. She knows more than I do for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, that has been discussed. It has not really materialized, which is kind of my fault because I just have not really followed up on it. I need to have the time to do it, man. It's kind of a lot to do, but maybe we could do it because it is just a once a week thing. At least it's always just Saturdays, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I mean, it probably would be fun. We need to come up with a catchy name for it if we want to do it. But she has at least mentioned potentially wanting to do that. Red Sox have Brian Bayo pitching today. You know that I've had my issues with Bayo, although he is starting to pitch better, man. And if you watch the Red Sox on Netflix documentary, Bayo, I think he had some distractions last year because his wife and kid were still in the Dominican Republic, and this year they were actually able to get into the U.S., because Trump's immigration stuff ain't working, baby. But, dude, I'm going to tell you, if any immigrants should be allowed into the U.S., it should be ones that are going to help the Red Sox play better, all right? That is my stance on immigration. Let Brian Bayo's family in, which has happened. They're in the U.S. now, so I think maybe that is kind of contributing to him pitching better this year. He did start off quite bad again this year, but as of late, he's actually pitching a lot better. He's coming off a complete game against Colorado, though. I mean, it was not a Coors Field either. Colorado, terrible offense, but still, you go 9 innings, allowing 2 runs, 5 hits, 10-1 strikeout walk ratio against any major league offense. I'll take notice of that. I mean, that's pretty impressive. He does have a 13-2 strikeout walk ratio this month over the last 2 starts. He picked up the win in both games as well. Only allowed 4 earned runs and 6 hits in 14 innings. Definitely 2 good starts, man, both at home. So Bayo is pitching better. 3.38 ERA at home is still pretty good as well, even though his home road splits are actually more road friendly. Against Tampa, his numbers are not good, though. In 97 at-bats, 340 batting average allowed, and 853 OPS. So Tampa has been able to hit him in the past. 23-6 strikeout walk ratio, pretty good, but I'm still not quite ready to trust Bayo as far as like putting money on him or anything like that. So I think it's a stay away. Surprisingly, both pitchers actually look like they don't have great numbers in the matchup in this one. So it's a stay away. It looks like Tampa's public somehow. I don't know how that's even possible. The Red Sox are the more, well-known name, and the Red Sox are just on fire right now. So I really don't understand how the public would be on Tampa. 68% of tickets, 61% of the cash look like that is on Tampa, but we do see the Red Sox have dropped from -130 to -113. I'm still going to say slightly lean to Tampa. I mean, I think Pepio is sort of the more trustworthy of the 2 starters still. It does look like money is coming on the under, though, which is even more surprising based on the matchup numbers. Although both pitchers are in good form, but based on these matchup numbers, I wouldn't want to touch the under either. But the total has dropped from 9 to 8.5. 54% of the tickets on the over, 61% of the cash on the under. Willing to accept what exception? I don't know. Well, I don't know if it would just be the main card. Like if we did an MMA show, we'd probably just cover the entire Saturday card. You know me and my completionist. I cover every MLB game right now, man. And towards the end of the NFL season, I was covering every NFL game as well. I'm definitely not going to do it with the college sports, though. There's way too many to do that. But I have been doing it here. MLB is actually a lot to cover every game, too. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, man. Colorado at Cincinnati. Cincinnati won yesterday after losing the first game. Both of these were one-run results. Brady Singer got them a pretty good start yesterday for the Reds there. More of the Rockies' bullpen got used yesterday. Rockies' bullpen's really bad anyway as well. Neither of these bullpens are great, but the Rockies' bullpen is definitely the one that's at the disadvantage here. Austin Gomber is pitching for the Rockies. He's been not great. 5.92 ERA, 1.56 whip. He's been better on the road, though. 3.72 ERA. He has struggled in Coors Field so far. But again, the Reds Stadium is also a pretty hitter-friendly park. He hasn't been great over his last couple starts this month. He hasn't really been great this entire season. I mean, he's only made, 5 starts this season. None of it has really been good. Rockies have lost the last 4 of them. Last outing, he gave up 4 earned runs and only went 4 2/3 against the Red Sox. 5-1 strikeout walk ratio was good, but overall not a good start. He's not really in good form right now. Previous start, he only had 1 strikeout against Houston and gave up 8 hits, so he was kind of lucky to escape that, only allowing 2 earned runs in 5 innings. Against the Reds, his numbers aren't good. In 37 at-bats, 297 batting average, 901 OPS. So not really expecting a whole lot out of Gomber here. He's up against Nick Martinez, who is definitely the better of the 2 pitchers, but his numbers have been getting worse as well. 4.85 ERA, 1.21 whip. Basically really similar home road splits, but Martinez's numbers have skyrocketed because his last outing, I don't even know how this happened. He gave up 10 earned runs against Miami in 5 innings, 7 hits allowed, 3 walks, and all of those earned base runners scored, and there were no home runs from Miami against him. I don't know how he could have possibly been that bad in that game against a really bad Miami offense. It was at Cincinnati, but even so, which is, a hitter-friendly park, like I said, but still, that is a horrific start. He has not been good this month. He gave up 4 runs the outing before that against the Red Sox, which at least that's a start that you can at least forgive, but that Miami start is pretty much unforgivable, man. So on the one hand, yeah, it was so bad, and he's not as bad as that start looks, so maybe he will bounce back a little bit, but man, since he had that really great 8-inning performance against San Diego after he came out of the bullpen in 2 outings prior to that, he's been all over the place, man. He had that amazing outing against San Diego, going 8 innings, allowing 1 hit, and then since then he's been pretty bad. So maybe a little bit of a lingering hangover from having that great game. I don't know. Hasn't been good for him, but at least he is facing a bad Colorado offense here, and he has done well against them in 32 at-bats, 219 average, allowed 515 OPS. So if Martinez is going to bounce back and have a better start, it should be in a game like this against a really bad offense. Not the Rockies. The Reds are just way too much of a favorite, though. Down from minus 245 to minus 240. I don't think you can play Cincinnati at a price like this. 89% of tickets, 90% of the cash on them. But this one, this is just a complete stay away from me, man. I don't even know what you would want to do to maybe even attack this game. If you want to maybe go with Gomber to kind of just give it up in this game and get hit around, maybe a Reds team total over, but you probably have to get them over about 6 runs in the game, and they have not done that in the series so far, so that would be a stay away. Scott, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. I'm trying to read through all these comments here real quick. Yes, sir. Are you calling me beautiful? It's pretty gay, dude. That's even more gay. Sucking today's dick, yeah. Hockey, I do all right with hockey. I don't talk about every hockey game or NBA game, though, during those seasons, although I guess I probably could, but... the immigration policy exception, yeah, that's right. Sunday Chaos, I forgot. I'm going to be on that tonight, yeah, that's right. The acronyms, which acronyms? I throw one out and I'll tell you what it means. All right, let me see. You mean ERA and WHIP? ERA is earned run average, so ERA is the amount of earned runs, which are runs that are scored not as a result of errors. So basically, runs that are actually earned by the hitters. That's how many earned runs a pitcher allows per 9 innings. Typically, I would say a good ERA is something like below 4. Like 4 is kind of the Mendoza line, in my opinion, for that. WHIP is walks and hits per innings pitched, which I think is a better indicator because that's how many earned base runners the pitcher allows per inning. So I like that a little bit better. It's how many walks and hits they allow per inning. I would say anything below 1.2, that's kind of the Mendoza line I look at there, is a good WHIP. So that's, so that's what I'll tell you about the acronyms there. All right, what did I just talk about? Oh, yeah. Next up is the game where I'm going to give out a play on the Detroit Tigers. How about that, man? It looks like they are really faltering into the All-Star break, but they're trying to avoid a sweep here, man. And not only that, but you got to think the Tigers are going to show up to play here, man. I mean, they're at home. They're good at home. And Seattle has absolutely embarrassed them in the series. I mean, Seattle won 12-3 in a game where I believe Skubal started that game and gave up 4 runs. And then Seattle really just tacked it on towards the end part of that game. And then yesterday, 15-7 was the final for Seattle yesterday. So Seattle has put up, 27 runs in 2 games. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. It's unsustainable. Seattle's offense, they're all right, but they're not this good. Detroit is still 32-17 at home. Mariners, even after those 2 wins, are only 1 game above 500 on the road. So Detroit is better at home. I think Detroit might be pissed off enough if they want to at least get something before they go into the All-Star break and actually get a game here against Seattle. I think you're getting a cheap price on Detroit here, man, given that they are still probably the better team over Seattle, even though I think Detroit maybe not as good as their record looks. If you look at their run differential and stuff like that, they're good, but they're not one of those top teams really. I think they're probably maybe top several in the league, but they're not right at the top. Which is how many runs they've scored versus how many runs they've allowed. Seattle has flipped from plus 109 to minus 108 now, so you're almost getting Detroit in an underdog price here. I just think that's going too far, man. 77% of tickets, 86% of the cash. It looks like it's on Detroit, though. So to me, I don't know. It looks like the higher cash percentage maybe is coming in on Detroit, even though the line did flip. That could have been maybe some manipulation in the line, maybe not actually a real money move there, if you know what I mean, because a lot of times when the line is right around a pick 'em, you'll see some of those guys that manipulate the lines that want to just play both sides as an underdog, try to just jockey the line to do that. You can get Detroit again at a really cheap price at about minus 105, and I actually think that's the way to go. In this game, both bullpens are pretty used up right now, man, and I know Detroit's bullpen has been struggling. They have an above 4 bullpen ERA now, which is not good. They're in the bottom half of bullpens, bordering on being bottom 3rd now, which isn't good. Seattle's kind of mid-tier, though. I mean, Seattle's right here at 3.74, so even though Detroit did use some of their bullpen yesterday, both teams did, man. So I think we could still include the bullpens in this game because I think Detroit is going to want to be going for the win here. I like the starting pitching matchup for Detroit as well, surprisingly, because on the surface, you would think that I would not like Flaherty over Gilbert, but if you dig into the matchup, I actually kind of do. Gilbert, I know he's been good for the Mariners. 3.72 ERA, 1.01 WHIP. His home road splits are actually really, really significant, and he is way worse on the road this year with a 6.2 road ERA. So we have that going for us here if we want to fade Gilbert. He's been really bad on the road, away from the pitcher-friendly confines of Seattle. And he has not been good in his couple of starts. Not only just this month, but his last 4 starts, he hasn't gone more than 5 1/3 innings in any of them. He's allowed 4 earned runs in 3 of the 4, and the other start was against a bad Kansas City lineup, and he didn't even make it 5 innings in that one. His last 2 starts, he's walked 5 guys in 10 innings. That's also not good. And allowed 5 earned runs over that span. 12 strikeouts was good. So his strikeout rate has still been there, but his walk rate has gone way up in his last couple of starts this month. I know one of them was against the Yankees. Yeah, it's definitely difficult to face the Yankees, but he did have a bad start against Texas. And that start against Kansas City recently wasn't good either. So he's not doing well against weak lineups either. And Detroit has hit him pretty well in 48 career at-bats. They have a 312 batting average off him. 749 OPS, not exactly that high. They haven't really hammered him for that many hard hits, but still they've been able to hit him at least. So I don't think we trust Gilbert here. And we're going to have the advantage of both home road splits here, even though Jack Flaherty has not been pitching well. 4.7 ERA, quite high. 1.24 whip, though, isn't as bad. He's been way better at home, though. 3.72 ERA. So, again, we have the advantage of both home road splits here. And Flaherty, after he had a rough June last month, he had 2 really rough starts against Cincinnati and Tampa Bay. Did proceed to walk 4 guys against the A's, although he did strike out 7, and he made it 6 innings in that one. But then after that, his 2 starts after that, he's actually been a lot better. This month, he has a 3.97 ERA in the 2 starts this month against Washington and against Tampa. Tampa's fairly good, though. Washington, not really. But still, 17 strikeouts and 11 1/3 innings pitched. Yeah, he allowed 12 hits, which is a little bit high, but only 3 walks. So his strikeout walk ratio has been good. He only allowed 3 and 2 earned runs in those 2 starts, so that's good as well. So I think Flaherty is kind of coming back into form a little bit here, and he has actually done really well against Seattle in 47 career at-bats. He has a 17-4 strikeout walk ratio, 170 batting average, and 590 OPS. So he has actually done really well against them. Just Arozarena and Mastrobuoni, one of the most ridiculous names, man. They each have a home run off him. Mastrobuoni, man, is I believe that's Italian for good masturbation. I believe is what that means good jerking off in Italian. There, man. That name is just insane, man. And I think, I forget, he was up against some Yankee pitcher the other day who had a name that sounded also like jerking off, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody put like the score overlay on there, which shows you who the batter and the pitcher were at that given time. It's so ridiculous, dude. But that is one of the most ridiculous names in baseball. Miles Mastrobuoni. Yes, sir. So, all that being said, yes, I'm giving out the Detroit Tigers as a play here, man. So, yeah, if that wasn't clear, yeah, I think we got the starting pitching matchup edge here. Bullpens, to me, are a little bit of a wash. We're getting the advantage of Detroit's home advantage, at least, and them being probably really pissed off after being embarrassed in the series. Seems to me like the public isn't really going to want to be on them as much after what they've done in the series. And I don't think the public are really huge fans of Jack Flaherty. I'm not either, but Detroit's going to be a play I'll give out here. Cleveland at Chicago White Sox. I mean, this is an ugly game between 2 ugly offenses, man. Both bullpens did not get a lot of usage yesterday, so that's at least good for the bullpens. Joey Cantillo is pitching for Cleveland. He's really hard to figure out so far. I mean, he hasn't had a whole lot of a career yet. 3.79 ERA this year, but a 1.46 whip is very high. He's been better on the road, though. 2.18 ERA on the road. It's a small sample size so far. He was coming out of the bullpen, so he has made a lot of appearances this year, most of them out of the bullpen. They've moved him kind of like an opener role now, although they have been increasing his pitch count. So he actually threw 84 pitches last time out. So they're it almost looks like Cleveland is working him back into like a starter role here. So you might actually see him go a little bit more in this game. It's possible he winds up going about 5 innings in this one, especially because he's going up against a really weak White Sox offense. So maybe they're going to ramp him up a little bit more as we get into the All-Star break. But he's been mediocre, I would say, over his 2 starts that he's had this month. He's gone 4 or fewer innings in both of them. Only allowed 3 runs combined over the 7 1/3 innings for a 3.68 ERA. 12-6 strikeout walk ratio is a really high strikeout rate, but a really high walk rate. So Cantillo does have the ability to strike guys out at a high rate, but he's also wild. And that's been the case even when he was coming out of the bullpen. A lot of strikeouts and a lot of walks. So that's what you're going to get out of Cantillo, at least right now. He's been good against the White Sox, though, in 16 career at-bats, 8 strikeouts against them, and he's held him to a 188 batting average and 438 OPS. I know it's a small sample size, but Cantillo, I mean, he is a talented pitcher. He does have the ability to shut down this White Sox offense, at least. Arizona. Aaron Savale is pitching for the White Sox. They picked him up not that long ago in a trade, I believe, with Milwaukee. 5.17 ERA over the course of the whole season, 1.55 whip. Those numbers are bad. He has a 4.58 home ERA, both that's with Milwaukee and the White Sox combined. Since the White Sox have picked him up, the White Sox have lost all 5 games that he started. He's been not horrible, but not good either. Over his last couple of starts, 4-4 strikeout walk ratio, though, this month. Against the Dodgers, though, that's a pretty difficult assignment. And then Toronto has at least been hot recently, but he has a 7 ERA over those 2 starts and only went 9 innings total in the 2 starts and didn't have any strikeouts the last time out against Toronto. So things are not exactly great for Savale here. Up against Cleveland, though, they're a weak offense, and he's done well against them in the past. 40 career at-bats against them, 11-1 strikeout walk ratio, 125 average allowed, and 321 OPS. So because both of these offenses are so bad, and they both actually match up pretty poorly against the pitchers, I kind of think an under maybe is worth a look in this one. We're looking at 8.5. The bullpens are at least kind of rested, even though they're not great bullpens, but the offenses are so weak here. Or maybe if you want to go under first 5 innings, you could do that as well. Although the money looks like it's kind of leaning towards the over. 71% of tickets, 86% of cash on the over. To me, it seems like, based on the starting pitching matchup, though, and how bad the offenses are, I kind of think an under might be a little bit better for that one. Not nice, guy. Yes, sir. I don't know what exactly you're laughing at. I'm at least trying to be funny here. Mets at Kansas City. Kansas City has lost both games in the series so far. Unfortunately for Kansas City, I don't know what happened, man, because Lorenzen was supposed to start yesterday. Maybe he's hurt. I don't know what happened, but the Royals wound up having to go with the bullpen game yesterday. So that's pretty bad because the Royals, I mean, one of their advantages they usually do have is that their bullpen is fairly good. But right now, I mean, their bullpen might be at a little bit of a disadvantage. The Mets' bullpen isn't that much worse than theirs. And the Royals used a lot of their bullpen yesterday because they had to pitch the whole game yesterday. The Mets did use some of their best relievers, though, because it was a close game. The Mets did have to use their closer to finish the game off yesterday. So, bullpen situation, well, not exactly terrific on either side for the 2 teams here. Kansas City is trying to avoid the sweep here at the very least, and maybe has a little bit of extra motivation. Clay Holmes is pitching for the Mets. I'm not a huge fan of Clay Holmes. 3.29 ERA this year is pretty good, though. 1.26 whip, decent. He's been slightly worse on the road, 3.45 ERA. I don't trust him, though. And his walk rate has been really bad over his last 5 starts. I mean, he's had, let's try to do the math real quick here, 17 walks and 16 strikeouts over the last 5 starts. More walks than strikeouts over the last 5 starts. That is not a good sign. So Holmes, that means his command has been way off. He's not fooling hitters. That's a really bad sign. The 2 starts this month, he has a 6.1 ERA, 5 walks to 6 strikeouts, which is also not very good. One of the starts was against Baltimore, who's not really that great of an offense. Milwaukee, at least, is a decent offense, and he struggled in that start, too. So Holmes, he's not in good form right now, man. So I actually think he is fadeable, but he does have decent numbers against Kansas City. I mean, their offense is really bad. 32 at-bats. He's held him to 250 average, 669 OPS. So Holmes, he's in bad form right now. I do think he is fadeable, but he does have decent numbers against Kansas City. Keeping all that in mind, I do prefer Kansas City starter here, Noah Cameron. You know, I have an affinity for young guys, man. That's just the way that it is. Noah Cameron is a talented young starter here, and he's doing well in his major league debut season here. 2.56 ERA, 0.96 whip on the season. Nice numbers. He actually has been worse at home, though, with a 3.93 home ERA, even though it is a pretty pitcher-friendly park. But he's been good this month. He finally ramped it up to a 7-inning performance last time out against Pittsburgh after he failed to go 5 innings in 2 straight starts, and his team lost a bunch of games in a row behind him. But some of that was not his fault. But this month, he's only allowed 2 earned runs in 11 2/3 innings, 12-2 strikeout walk ratio. So he has been good this month. He seems to be rounding back into form, and the Mets have never seen him before. So I think the unfamiliarity edge when you have a young, talented pitcher like Cameron, I think being unfamiliar to the opposing hitters is actually a good thing. It's an advantage because the hitters have to kind of figure him out first couple of times they see him. So I lean to Kansas City in this game, and the money is agreeing with me. Mets are down from -125 to -111. 56% of tickets on the Mets, 68% of the cash coming in on Kansas City. So a pretty strong market read on Kansas City here. Obviously, the Mets, the one advantage that they have in this game that's a huge advantage is their offense is the way better offense. I worry about Kansas City's bullpen, though, with so much bullpen usage yesterday. Even though I know there's a thing where there is some handicappers talk about this. When a team has a bullpen game, a lot of times they actually do well in the next game. But when it was an unexpected bullpen game like that and you weren't prepared to use your bullpen like that and you used a ton of it, I don't think it's a good thing. So I think the way that I would probably play this is Kansas City money line in the first 5 innings and just go with the starting pitching matchup being in Cameron's favor. I think that would probably be the way I would lean in that game. Not going to give it out as a play. Gray Pilled, what's up, man? Jules. Yep, I'll see you tonight, man. All right. So, yeah, first 5 inning Kansas City would probably be the way to lean in that game, in my opinion. Pittsburgh at Minnesota. Pittsburgh got absolutely trounced yesterday, man. I mean, I thought it was a bad setup for Minnesota. Minnesota did not have a listed starter. They wound up going with basically a bullpen game, but they kind of saved their bullpen because Adams pitched 4 innings, and their pitching did fairly well yesterday. So Minnesota's bullpen, even though it's not a great bullpen right now, their bullpen, their better relievers are available today. So that's going to help them, whereas Pittsburgh had to use more of their pen yesterday because Burrows was way worse than I expected. Burrows couldn't even get it done at all against this bad Minnesota offense. That's not a good sign for Pittsburgh, although I do like Pittsburgh's starter today. I don't love their bullpen at all. I mean, their bullpen is pretty bad. I mean, where are they? Actually, maybe they're not as bad as I thought. They're kind of mid-tier, actually, Pittsburgh's bullpen here. Minnesota, I think, actually might have the worst one. Now, yeah, Minnesota is kind of in the bottom third of bullpens now, but I think after yesterday, too much bullpen usage for the Pirates. But I do like the Pirates starter, Mitch Keller. He's been good this year, man. 3.58 ERA, 1.17 whip. He's been even better on the road, 3.09 ERA on the road. He's in pretty good form over his last few starts here as well. Actually, going all the way back to the beginning of June, he's been fairly good, even though he had a 4.3 ERA in June, but a 21-6 strikeout walk ratio was pretty good. Fewer hits than innings pitched, so he kind of got a little bit unlucky in June. Well, it was because he's allowing too many home runs. He's only allowed 9 on the season, though, but he allowed 3 in June and 2 so far this month, both in the last outing against Kansas City, but he didn't allow any runs besides those home runs. And this month, he does have a 12-2 strikeout walk ratio and a 1.32 ERA. Got at least 6 2/3 in both starts. So he is in good form right now. He's facing a weak Minnesota offense, and they do not do well against Keller. In 44 at-bats, they have a 182 batting average against him and 461 OPS. So I like how Keller matches up in this game, and I think he will probably get you a good start in this one. Simeon Woods Richardson is who's opposing him, and he has not been as good. 4.08 ERA, 1.32 whip from Minnesota here. He's been better at home, though, 3.28 home ERA, and he is starting to pitch better again after he was having a rough go of it earlier in the season. He did pitch better than this last year, and he seems to be kind of finding something again. As the Twins have won his last 3 starts, he's allowed 1 run over that span of 15 innings and only allowed 6 hits over that span. And he also has a 13-6 strikeout walk ratio. It's kind of too many walks still, but still, he's been pretty good over those last 3 starts, and it does include a start last time out against the Cubs that was a shutout for 5 innings, which is fairly impressive against a pretty good Cubs offense. However, he actually does not do well historically against the Pirates. In 20 at-bats, he has a 350 average against and an 809 OPS. I hesitate to want to deal with Pittsburgh's bullpen, though, so the way that I would look at this is probably, well, you know what I'm going to say. I would probably lean Pittsburgh first 5 innings here, man. I would probably grab them as an underdog in the first 5 innings. I think they do have a starting pitching edge in this game, and I think both offenses are comparably bad, even though Minnesota's offense is the better of the two, but they're not great, either one of them. And I also think Carlos Correa got hurt from Minnesota, so I don't even know. Is he back? I don't even know. ESPN would tell us based on if he's in this batter versus pitcher thing here. It looks like he is there, and he was included. He's 3 for 5 off Keller, and he was included in those stats. So even if he is playing, I still think it's a matchup edge for Keller over Woods Richardson. So the way I would lean in that game is Pittsburgh first 5 innings, but the market read seems against it, as Minnesota's up from -130 to -137. 56% of tickets, 76% of the cash coming in on Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, I kind of hesitate to, Yeah, to fade a market read like that. So I don't know. Although I know I just looked up because I'm like, oh shit, I am fading this market read. It looks like it's going against Detroit here though. So we will see what happens in that game. But man, I think the splits line up pretty well for that one as well there. So this one I'll stay off of, but I would lean to Pittsburgh first 5 innings. Texas at Houston. Houston lost the first game of the series, won yesterday in dramatic fashion in 11 innings. Houston won 5-4 yesterday. I said I liked the under in that game, and that game was under at the end of 9 innings. It was a 3-3 game. Texas tied it up in the 9th inning, took the lead in the 11th inning, and then lost anyway. Pretty brutal. It would have been a brutal way to lose an under, too. If you had under 7 in that game, man, that's a brutal way to lose. It's a 3-3 game. Just because of the top of the 9th. It could have been a 3-2 finish, man, in that game. So I think I wasn't really wrong about the under in that game. Both starting pitchers did really well. It was just an unfortunate set of events that sent into extra innings, and then you get the ghost runner and crap. Both bullpens got a little bit used up in yesterday's game. So even though I kind of like both bullpens, Houston's, and actually they're both here. They're 3rd and 4th in bullpen ERA, Houston and Texas, respectively. So they both have good bullpens, but they're both pretty used coming into this game. Although I do like both starters here generally. Eovaldi is pitching for Texas. He's been really good this year. 1.62 ERA, 0.85 WHIP. I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to continue pitching at that rate this entire season, especially as a 35-year-old, but he has definitely been good. Texas seems like they have some really good pitching coaching there. He's been even better on the road with a 1.27 road ERA. He's been really good on his 2 starts this month, too. He's come back from injury. He missed a month, had a shaky start against Seattle, and then since then he's been basically lights out. This month, won both of his starts, had an 11-1 strikeout walk ratio, has allowed no runs and no earned runs and 7 hits in 11 innings pitched against Baltimore and Anaheim. So he is definitely back on track. But Houston actually hits him pretty well. They're familiar with him, 117 career at-bats. They actually have 9 home runs off him. However, 7 of them are Altuve. So I still hate home run props, though, man, even though Altuve has a ridiculous amount of home runs in that amount of at-bats against Eovaldi. He's basically hitting a home run like every 8 at-bats against Eovaldi, which is ridiculous. But if you play him to hit a home run, I still probably don't even think you're getting the edge of the number there because the books really screw you on the home run props. I would still look to hits plus runs plus RBIs for the player props. So, yeah, Altuve has hammered Eovaldi. 17 for 55 with 7 home runs and 3 walks and 2 doubles. But anyway, overall, Eovaldi hasn't been good against Houston. 282 average against, 894 OPS against. But again, a lot of it is Altuve, although Diaz, Caratini, Walker do all have good numbers against him as well. Against Houston, I think his walk rate was high as well, 27-10 strikeout walk ratio. On the other side, Hunter Brown is pitching, and as I pointed out, he has made his first All-Star game, and I think that affected him in his last outing because he was really bad in his last outing. Brown has been good, though, 2.21 ERA, 0.94 WHIP, excuse me, I'm used to saying 1.94 WHIP. Brown having a really good season, really good at home, 1.95 home ERA. His last outing was bad, though. He gave up 6 runs in 6 innings against Cleveland. I told you, when a guy gets named to their first All-Star game, and a lot of times if they start after they get named to the All-Star game and they have to make a start and they have the All-Star game upcoming, they tend to be a little bit distracted. And I think that kind of happened there. Brown kind of got jacked up by Cleveland, and they're not a good offense. But because that did happen, maybe he will refocus here and bounce back because he got lit up in that game. I don't think you usually see a guy have 2 starts between getting named to the All-Star game and then having to pitch potentially in the All-Star game. So kind of a rare scenario where he's just on the book end of that, where like right when it got announced that he was going to be on the All-Star team, he had to pitch, and now he's pitching the last game going into the All-Star break. But maybe he will do better in this game and bounce back from that because I think he was distracted in that start. And he generally has been really good this year, but even though Texas has a pretty bad offense, Brown has not been good against them. In 116 at-bats, 22-6 strikeout walk ratio is good. He has allowed 5 home runs to them. Berger and Garcia each have 2 home runs against him. 310 average, allowed an 844 OPS. So it is possible Brown struggles in this game as well. Although he did only face Texas once this year, and he was really good against them. He went 8 innings, allowing 1 run, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks. So Brown, his career stats against Texas might not be something you really should read into that much, even though it's a big sample size and it's bad numbers. Brown has never been in his, like, he had some real struggles early in his career, man. And this year he is so much better than he was prior to that. So his one start this year against Texas was dominant. So maybe you should kind of ignore his career stats a little bit. And I think Eovaldi's career stats are actually more of an indicator. So I would probably just have a slight lean to Houston in this game, but I don't love it. And I could see this game going over just because both teams have bad pitching matchups here with the matchup numbers at least. And we're looking at a situation where the bullpens are pretty used up, and the total's low at 7, although it has flipped to being juiced to the under. 74% of tickets, 80% of cash on the under. So the market read completely disagrees with me. Market read is saying under. I think that's risky given those matchup numbers. The money is also fading Houston here, down from minus 140 to minus 130. 67% of tickets, only 65% on the cash on Houston. Public usually does not like teams like Texas who can't hit. So the public is on Houston. It looks like the market read is saying to fade Houston, money coming in against them. I'm not sure that I would agree with that, but it is possible that Brown is still distracted, headed into his first All-Star game. Where is Meady? I don't know. I don't know. Does Meady usually show up in here? I don't know. If he uses does he use a different name in here? I forget. Meat Cavern. All right, where are we at? Washington, Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee is the significantly better of these two teams, man. Milwaukee's on a hot streak. They have not suffered a letdown so far after sweeping the Dodgers. They're on the verge of sweeping Washington here. Washington's just terrible. Milwaukee did get away with it yesterday. They won 6-5. Woodruff pitched fairly well for them again, but he was inefficient with his pitches, and they had to take him out kind of early in the game yesterday. So Milwaukee's bullpen had to pitch, but both bullpens had to pitch, and Milwaukee's bullpen has actually been getting better. As you see, they're kind of middle of the pack now. Washington's bullpen is at the absolute worst again. They're competing with the A's for having the worst bullpen in all of baseball, and that is Washington. So Milwaukee does still have a bullpen advantage in this game, even though they used some of their bullpen yesterday. You got to give the advantage to Milwaukee there, and I think they have a strong starting pitching edge in this game as well, and Milwaukee has the better offense. It's just a matter of price, man. Do you want to lay this price with Milwaukee? I do think they have all the advantages here, but I think they had basically all of them yesterday, and they still only won by 1, so they didn't cover the run line yesterday if you went with a 1.5 run line or whatever. Jake Irvin is pitching for Washington, 4.78 ERA, 1.31 whip. Not great numbers. That's not a great whip. He's been worse on the road, 5.81 road ERA. Hasn't been great this month either, with a 7-7 strikeout walk ratio. I mean, he did last 6 innings in each start, but he gave up 7 runs in the 12 innings. 7-7 strikeout walk ratio is really bad. 5.25 ERA, not good either. In the start prior to this month, he gave up 8 earned runs to Anaheim. He's not in good form right now, man. He's not pitching well. He doesn't do that great against Milwaukee either. In 53 at-bats, 11-9 strikeout walk ratio is bad. 264 average allowed is not that bad, but an 805 OPS, getting a little bit high. I usually use about 750 as kind of the Mendoza line there for, like, is your OPS against these hitters good or bad? Or really whether a hitter's OPS is good or not as well, I would say. So I don't really love Irvin here. Obviously, Freddie Peralta is the better of the two pitchers. He's been the Brewers' ace, man. I know everybody's talking about Mizurowski now, but Peralta has been doing it a long time, and he is the guy. 2.74 ERA, 1.09 whip. He's been really good at home, 1.56 ERA at home. Pitching very consistently throughout the season. He's allowed more than 3 earned runs in one start all season. It was 4 earned runs against Cleveland for whatever reason. He's been great for the most part. 5 wins in a row for Milwaukee in his starts. He's got at least 5 innings in all 5 of those. Strikeout walk ratio has been really good across that. 2 starts this month. He's allowed 2 runs total. He's coming off a shutout of the Dodgers for 6 innings. Gave up 2 runs against the Mets the time before that. So he's pitching really well against good offenses. A 13-2 strikeout walk ratio, 7 hits allowed in 12 innings, 1.5 ERA over those 2 starts. That's all good. Against Washington, his numbers are not great, but they're good enough. 64 at bats, 20-6 strikeout walk ratio, really high strikeout rate again. 266 average, 750 OPS. So I think Peralta certainly is the pitcher that has the advantage in this game. The money is coming in on Milwaukee. They're up from minus 220 to minus 248. 73% of tickets, 94% of the cash coming in on the side of Milwaukee. I agree with that. I think, again, Milwaukee has every advantage in this game. It's just a matter of what do you want to do with it. I mean, you got to lay like the run line if you want to play Milwaukee. And, of course, they are at home. Their offense has been a little bit worse at home this year, although they have been picking it up recently. You're not going to get the ninth inning of at-bats if they're already winning. Although, of course, you don't want them to not already be winning at that point because you don't want to need them to score in the ninth inning either. So that's the little bit of a disadvantage you run into when you lay a 1.5 run line at home. I don't know how costly a -1 run line would be. Obviously, you can't lay a money line like this. I mean, you could, if you wanted to go with like a team total, man, I would probably maybe be going with Irvin or with Washington to go under their team total maybe. But I don't love that either because Milwaukee's bullpen is used up and it's not that good either. So no, scratch that. I don't like that either. Maybe Milwaukee over their team total and just expect Irvin to get hit and then Washington's bullpen gets involved and they'll do bad as well. Maybe Milwaukee over the team total and then it's the better way to do it. But, I mean, to me it seems like the biggest advantage here is just that Milwaukee has a huge advantage everywhere here. So it's a kind of a game where you do want to try to play like a run line or something with Milwaukee. But it's just the price might be a little bit too high, so I'm not giving that out as a play. Atlanta, St. Louis, we have another situation where Atlanta, for the second day in a row, has no clue who their starting pitcher is going to be. That's not a good sign. St. Louis has Sonny Gray pitching. Yesterday, both bullpens saw some usage. It was a high-scoring game, close game. I gave out the over yesterday. That was a correct call. This game, again, I still don't love either bullpen, even though I know Atlanta has actually moved up. Their bullpen is actually fairly good now, but they had a bullpen game yesterday, so it's not like I want to trust Atlanta's bullpen. St. Louis bullpen, not bad. They're kind of middle of the pack. Atlanta's moved up into the top third, surprisingly. But again, if Atlanta's going with a second straight bullpen game, there's no way you want to have to deal with that. Sonny Gray on the other side is at least a really talented starting pitcher, and he is the Cardinals' ace still. 3.51 ERA in the season, 1.09 whip. Good numbers. He's been really good at home, 2.83 ERA at home. Last two starts, 12-2 strikeout walk ratio is pretty good. Did give up 6 runs, which isn't that great. He gave up 4 runs against Pittsburgh, but I think we can give him a pass for that. I think he did get a little bit unlucky as far as how many he didn't put a lot of base runners on him. Most of them wound up scoring, so that is getting a little bit unlucky. Gray has actually been really good over his last 4 starts. St. Louis has won 3 of those 4. So I think he is in good form. He is good at home. His numbers are fairly good against the Braves in 74 at-bats, 243 average allowed. But he's allowed 4 home runs to them, but 3 of them are Ozuna. So if he can kind of pitch around him, he might do all right. 746 OPS is a little bit high, but overall, I think Gray probably matches up pretty well here against undecided, but you're having to lay about -160 something, -166 right now with St. Louis, and it's hard to do that when you don't even know who Atlanta's going to be starting here, but I think you have to say Gray has an advantage over Atlanta's bullpen game. So St. Louis might be the right way to lean in this game, maybe a run line on St. Louis. I'm not going to do it, though. I'm not going to give it out as a play. Dodgers at San Francisco. They've split the first 2 games of this series. Each team has a 1-run win in the series so far, with San Francisco winning the first game and losing yesterday 2-1. Ohtani actually went a little bit deeper yesterday. I think he went 3 innings this time, or maybe even 4. I think it was 3, and he actually pitched pretty well into that game there. Got the Dodgers off to a good start yesterday. Dodgers had a good pitching performance for once, although the Dodgers bullpen has been iffy, man. I mean, they're way down here with a pretty bad 4.38 bullpen ERA. They're in the bottom third of bullpens. San Francisco is at the absolute top, where they've been basically all season. 3.13 bullpen ERA, which has gone up a little bit. It was lower than 3, although that's kind of unsustainable. So San Francisco does have a bullpen edge over the Dodgers here, even though San Francisco does sometimes use some of their better relievers. But it was actually the Dodgers who used a couple of their better relievers yesterday to finish the game off yesterday. So San Francisco does have the bullpen edge here. Starting pitching, Yamamoto is pitching for the Dodgers. He is one of their best pitchers. 2.77 ERA, 1.07 whip. He's been even better on the road, 2.12 road ERA. He's coming off an atrocious start, though. Just kind of an inexplicable start where he didn't even make it out of the first inning, gave up 3 earned runs. The defense was making errors behind him to force him to not even be able to get out of the inning. He didn't even strike anybody out. 2 walks, gave up a home run. It was a disaster for him in that last game. But I think that's an outlier, though. I mean, that's basically never going to happen again for Yamamoto. I mean, sure, he'll have some not great starts mixed in there, you would have to imagine, but it's not going to be as bad as that again. I mean, that was ridiculous. I think I gave out an under on that game, and boy, did that wind up going poorly. I think Peralta opposed him and did really well in that game, but Yamamoto just ruined our under in that game, which is not good. But overall, Yamamoto has been pitching well besides that game recently, so I'll give him a pass for that because he's usually consistently good. What I think we might not be able to give him a pass for, though, is he has bad numbers against the Giants in his career. In 32 at-bats, 9-6 strikeout walk ratio is not good. 3 home runs to 3 different hitters, 281 batting average, 1,020 OPS. So Yamamoto hasn't done that great against San Francisco. He's being opposed by Robbie Ray, who I mentioned. I think he also has been named to his first All-Star game, if I'm not mistaken. And he had a somewhat iffy start last time out, so I don't know how he's going to do this time out. If he's going to bounce back, do a little bit better this time, or be distracted, I don't know. But he's probably not going to be distracted when he's going up against the Dodgers, man. I mean, it's a huge divisional series here. And probably you could say the same about Hunter Brown, to be honest, because he's going up against Texas, a big divisional series there. So you probably won't see these guys being unfocused in these games. Robbie Ray has been good on the season, surprisingly, because his career stats would tell you that there's no way that you could have predicted what he was going to do this year. 2.63 ERA, 1.1 whip, really nice numbers. He's been good at home, 2.48 home ERA. Pitching pretty well this month, even though that last start was shaky. Like I said, he walked 3 guys against Philly. He still held them to 1 run. San Francisco's been winning a lot of his games behind him. He has a 1.84 ERA in the 2 starts this month. Had a complete game against Arizona, who's a good offense. He held them to 2 runs, 12-4 strikeout walk ratio this month. Not bad. So, yeah, Ray has been good this month. Numbers against the Dodgers are okay in 76 at-bats. 23-8 strikeout walk ratio is a good strikeout rate. 250 average, pretty good, but 808 OPS, a little bit high. So it's tough to call what's going to happen in that game, man. I mean, I think the pitching is probably in favor of San Francisco. It looks like maybe the money's coming in on the Dodgers, though. 52% in tickets, 69% of the cash coming in on the Dodgers. Down from minus 140 to minus 137. Looks like the cash percentage is on the Dodgers, though, but I'm kind of slightly leaning to San Francisco. Obviously, the Dodgers have a way better offense, which is the one big advantage, but Yamamoto hasn't done well against San Francisco. Maybe there's a chance that he's in bad form right now after that last start. Ray has been in the better form of the 2 recently, and his matchup numbers are a little bit better. So maybe that's the way you want to look. Money looks like it's maybe coming a little bit on the under. Total down to 7.5 from 8. 59% in tickets, 61% of the cash on the over, though. I would stay away from the total, though. I mean, I could see both starting pitchers either doing well or doing poorly. It's actually really hard to gauge here in this game, but I think I would probably trust Ray a little bit more. You're getting him as a home underdog there. Always paying a bit of a price for the Dodgers, especially with Yamamoto on the mound. So I think maybe there is a little bit of value on the Giants side. Toronto at the A's. A's lost the first game, won yesterday. Each team with a 1-run win. The A's did have to use their better relievers yesterday, though. And the A's, of course, have a terrible bullpen. Second worst now to Washington. Really bad bullpen. Toronto's has been pretty good. They're in the top third, so Toronto definitely has a bullpen advantage in this game. Even factoring in the rest scenario after yesterday, because the A's used some of their back-end relief men yesterday to get that game yesterday. Barrios is pitching for Toronto. He's been one of their better starters, 3.53 ERA, 1.21 whip. Better on the road, 2.85 ERA on the road, but he is kind of a fly ball pitcher, though, and I don't know if that's going to translate terribly well to pitching in this A's AAA stadium, which allows a lot of home runs. He had a bad start 2 starts ago against the Yankees, but it looks like it was kind of a blip because Toronto actually still won that start, which is crazy, but the 3 starts surrounding that. He was good in all three. Toronto's actually won all 4 of those, and they've actually won 7 of his last 8 starts. He's been good in most of those starts. He bounced back nicely last time out. It was against the White Sox, a terrible offense, but he went 6 innings, allowing 1 run, 4-2 strikeout walk ratio, and I think that said he only allowed 2 hits in that game. Yeah, so he was good in that game, so he is bouncing back nicely. Does have good numbers against the A's in 69 at-bats, a 22-2 strikeout walk ratio, 203 average, and 501 OPS, so he does have really good numbers against the A's. I worry a little bit about how that translates to this particular stadium, but generally, yeah, Berríos has been good against the A's. Jeffrey Springs pitching for the A's. He has decent numbers this year, 3.92 ERA, 1.23 whip. He's been a little bit worse in this stadium, which is a pretty hard stadium to pitch in, man. 4.3 ERA here at home. Strikeout walk numbers are not good. He's not really a strikeout guy. 6-4 this month over the last 2 starts, but the A's have actually won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's gone at least 5 innings in every start, going all the way back to the start of June. He's actually pitched pretty well over that entire span. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of the last 5 starts. So Springs is actually at least limiting offenses, limiting their run output quite a bit, which is good. His numbers aren't good against Toronto, though, in 55 at-bats. 16-8 strikeout walk ratio is not good. 291 average, 835 OPS. So I do think Berríos does have the matchup edge in this one, and Toronto does have the bullpen edge, but the money is kind of pouring in against Toronto. They're very public, 85% road favorite, 85% of the tickets, 64% of the cash. Money line has dropped from -135 to -120. So the market indicators are basically all saying that the A's are getting the money, and I think it's because Springs has actually been surprisingly good recently, but in this matchup, I just don't know if I could trust that, so I don't really want to fade a market read, but I'm staying away from it. We have Arizona at Anaheim, which has been a very high-scoring series for the most part, 11 runs and then 15 runs, which is kind of expected because both bullpens are really bad. They're both here in the bottom 4 in bullpen ERAs. Bad bullpens, both with an ERA of 5 or worse. Anaheim used a ton of their bullpen yesterday, and D-backs actually saved some of theirs because I think they knew they were going to lose the game. Anaheim was trying to finish the game off. Anaheim continuing to overperform, in my opinion, man, based on their run differential, which is at, I think, somewhere around -50-something. It's a bad run differential, man, indicating that their record should not even be as good as it even looks. Even though they are below 500, I am expecting regression from Anaheim at some point, man. I think Arizona does actually have a bullpen edge coming into this game because Anaheim used a lot of their relief pitchers yesterday, and Arizona did not. And I prefer Arizona's starter as well here, Merrill Kelly, 3.41 ERA, 1.05 whip on the season. He's actually pretty much been their best starter this year. He's been good both home and away. It doesn't even matter. He's been pretty good recently, man. He had a 2.79 ERA in June with a 36-8 strikeout walk ratio. Hasn't allowed more than 4 earned runs in any game since the beginning of June, and that was only once against San Diego. This month, he's gone at least 6 innings in both starts. 7-3 strikeout walk ratio, not that good. Last time out at San Diego, I know it's a pitcher-friendly park, but he only gave 1 run, 4 hits in 7 innings, 4-0 strikeout walk ratio. So Kelly has been pretty good recently. Up against Anaheim, I believe he has good numbers as well. Yeah, in 52 at-bats, he's kind of dominated them. A 135 average, 466 OPS, 17-4 strikeout walk ratio. So I like Kelly with his matchup numbers here. He's going up against Jose Soriano, who has not been the better of these two pitchers. 4 ERA, 1.44 whip is definitely too high, and he's been really struggling at home. 6.07 ERA at home. He's only allowed 4 home runs on the entire season, although all of them have come at home. But the home run ball isn't what's done him in, man. He's walked way too many guys. That's the thing that's done him in. His wildness has been really bad. This month, he has an 11-7 strikeout walk ratio, which is bad. Did have a nice shutout for 7 innings against Atlanta, but he came back and gave up 5 runs against Texas and walked 5 guys in 4 innings. Struck out 4, so his strikeout numbers are there, but man, he's walking way too many guys. Soriano is a wild man, so he's not in good form right now, but he does have good numbers against the D-backs in 31 at-bats, 194 average, 533 OPS, 9-2 strikeout walk ratio. So I wanted to fade Soriano here, but the market read is completely against Arizona here. And Soriano at least does have good matchup numbers, so I can't do it. 73% of tickets are on Arizona, but the money has come in on LA or on Anaheim. 65% of the cash on Anaheim, and the money line is flipped from plus 104 to minus 115 on Anaheim. So the market read is strongly on Anaheim here, and I don't love it, man. I don't really agree with it, but that's just what the numbers are saying here, man. I'm not sure I agree with it for all the reasons that I just said, and Arizona does have the better offense, too. So I think Arizona has the better starting pitcher, the better bullpen, and the better hitting, but the money is disagreeing with it. And yeah, I mean, that's really the way that I was leaning in the game, but the market read is saying don't do it. Relax, don't do it. And then finally, I'll give you my final play, and it is going to be laying a price with a road favorite here, but I think there are reasons to do this. Philadelphia, minus 130 at San Diego here. These teams, Philadelphia's on the verge of getting swept, man, but this has been a close series. Philadelphia lost by 2 runs and then by 3 runs to San Diego here. Some close, low-scoring games. San Diego, yes, they have the way better bullpen, as I was pointing out. San Diego actually has the second-best bullpen ERA in baseball, and Phillies is not good. Phillies in the bottom third, but I think that balances out a little bit because the last couple of games, San Diego trying to hold on to these close wins. San Diego's used all of their better relievers, man. So the Phillies' bullpen is at least more rested than San Diego's is. So I think that kind of balances out the bullpen scenario here, where normally San Diego would have the better bullpen. In this case, I do not think they do. Philadelphia does have the better offense. And I think we're looking at a starting pitching edge for Philly as well, with Christopher Sanchez having a great season, 2.59 ERA, 1.13 whip. And I don't know if you saw the rumblings here. Some of the Phillies were mad because they, including Sanchez and Suarez, because the Phillies team thought that Sanchez and or Suarez should have been named to the All-Star team, and instead Misiorowski was named to the All-Star team. All-Star, dude, the All-Star stuff, like the voting, whatever, it's all bullshit. It's all about the money, you know what I mean? It's all about who's going to get more eyes, and everybody is talking about Misiorowski right now as this young phenom. That's why they did it. I think he's a great pitcher, but he only has 4 starts, man. So, again, I think it should have gone to somebody like Sanchez, who's just been really great all season. But what I think that's going to do in this game, I think Sanchez is going to want to go out and prove himself here, man. You didn't name him to the All-Star team? Well, guess what? I'm going to show you why you should have. You know what I mean? That type of thing. I think that's going to be an extra motivator for Sanchez here. And he's been good anyway this season. Like I said, 2.59 ERA, 1.13 whip on the season. Even better on the road, 2.29 ERA. And he is pitching in a pitcher-friendly park here. He's been absolutely dominating for a while. He hasn't even allowed more than 2 earned runs going all the way back to late May. So the entire month of June, July, and the last start in May. June, he had a 1.85 ERA, 33-6 strikeout walk ratio. This month in 2 starts, he's only allowed 2 runs in 14 innings, 13-1 strikeout walk ratio, and 1.29 ERA. He's on fire right now. He's in great form right now. Philly has won 4 of his last 7 starts at least, which isn't too bad. So that's what we're looking at here with Sanchez. He's been really good. The one caveat there is that San Diego did just see him, though, so we are dealing with a situation where San Diego's offense might be at a little bit of an advantage just because they just saw him. But Sanchez has been around for a while, man. San Diego has 68 at-bats against him, and they have not succeeded against him. So I think that that is more of a factor than the fact that San Diego just saw him. Sanchez has an 18-1 strikeout walk ratio against them in those 68 career at-bats, a 206 batting average against, and 526 OPS. Sanchez has dominated San Diego. On the other side, Nick Pivetta is pitching for the Padres. He's definitely had a good season, 3.07 ERA, 1.03 whip. Yes, he's been good at home, 2.3 ERA at home. But to me, I think he's starting to do a little bit worse. I know he's been trying to come back from injury. I think he missed a little bit of time somewhere in here, didn't he? Maybe I'm wrong about that. No, maybe I'm wrong. It looks like I thought he missed some time. I don't know. I don't know where he's been because I thought there was a period of time where I'm like, where is he? Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, he's been pitching decently, but he did have a 4.71 ERA in June, which is a lot worse than Sanchez. 30-6 strikeout walk ratio was pretty good, but he was allowing some hits, man, some hard hits. He was allowing too many home runs. So Pivetta, the home run ball has been a little bit of an issue. 12 home runs, even though his strikeout walk ratio is good. It's still good this month, 13-3 strikeout walk ratio. I know San Diego's won 4 of his last 5 starts, but he walked 3 guys last outing, and he, just like Sanchez, was just seen by Philadelphia and did well, 6 innings, 1 earned run. So both of these starting pitchers did well against these opposing offenses last time out. It does mean that both offenses have the same advantage, and both having seen the starting pitcher today recently. But I think Sanchez is the guy you want over Pivetta here, man. Pivetta against Philly has not had good numbers in the past, even though he did just put up a good outing against them. It might not continue. 92 at-bats in his career against them, a 283 average against, a 926 OPS, 6 home runs against, although it's 2 apiece from Turner and Harper, 25-13 strikeout walk ratio. So his strikeout walk ratio has actually not been good in his career against San Diego. So I think Sanchez has the motivation advantage, matchup number advantage. I think Sanchez has been so good recently that he's in the better form. I think Philadelphia at least has the more rested bullpen here, and they have the offensive advantage. So Philadelphia is going to be what I recommend. I think the money is agreeing with me on this one. 81% of tickets, 83% of the cash on this one on Philly. They're up from -125 to -126, so maybe you can get a little bit better than -130 here. That's the play, and that's going to do it. So it's that, Philadelphia -130, and then hopefully we can do it by fading the market read in the other game. And you're going to get a cheap price on Detroit, but Detroit at whatever price you can get is where I'm going. Although this is weird, man, because we see the numbers are all over the place here, because we see the cash percentage is now disagreeing with Detroit, but the line, remember we saw before, the line had gone to like -109 on Seattle, and now the line is flipped basically back to Detroit being a favorite here. So I don't know what is going on with the number here, man. Kind of strange. So we'll see what happens in that game. Those are the 2 plays today. I'm Learn to Toad on Twitter. Better Off Dead. Find me here on YouTube. Find me on the audio platforms. I put the audio out like right after I'm done here. We're on all the audio platforms. It's monetized, so if we get a lot of views on that thing, we can help get me some money, man. So please do that. Subscribe to everything. Listen, watch, review, comment, interact, all the good stuff. Thanks for all that. I'm on Instagram as well, where I do just short videos with all my plays, which is taken off a little bit. So that's at Off Dead Better there, or, you can just find Better Off Dead. Probably you'll find it. So BETTOR, and then Covered in Uke, the Uke channel. Again, I'm starting to get that going, where I'm at least going to double post all my Uke covers that I post on Twitter there as well. Covered in Uke on YouTube. And starting a Patreon soon, which I did finally get feedback, where some people said they do want a Spotify audio feed where all my ukulele covers that get posted just go up there almost in like a podcast form. So there's going to be kind of no order to it, other than it's going to be kind of chronological. But I think I'm going to drip old covers into it as well, because I have so many old covers. I got to get organized and start doing that. But I might do that for Patrons. I am at Learn to Toad on Patreon, so that is going to be coming up in the very near future, because some people seem like they do want it. So, and then I will be doing, at the highest Patreon tier, I'll be doing prioritized requests for Uke covers and stuff, and hopefully I can get some of those done. That's going to do it. Everybody have a good Sunday today, man, and hopefully this hot streak continues. Peace.